Hello and welcome, as today's date comes in that of the 13th day of September 2020, or the completion of such, moving into the 14th. My name is Derek. This is the Money Charts channel. Like always, all bets, trades, and of the like within each his own risk and their own reward. Going to go over Bitcoin, and then thereafter that, Theta will be the next coin thereafter it. All right then. And there hasn't been as many videos lately, and for the rest of the month, it's probably going to remain and such, as I've been doing a lot with the National Hockey League as far as playing that within fantasy perspective. Season will come to an end after that, and then the unannual off season in October and November. Anyway, so therefore, as weird as you want to take a look, I guess maybe the head and shoulders pattern, I guess, would be so left had the possibility of a right movement, and it would be like just some sort of weird thing. And that's if the price action has any more significant down moves. The price went down here from this high, thus coming back to this previous resistance area, or I like to say where we came from, thus now finding an area of support where it previously had found that of resistance. And the reason why I'm showing the head and shoulders pattern as is, I'm just showing that a sell-off at this stage, at least if it's just a little bit, like a couple $1,000 here and there, keeps very good higher low patterns in place, gives a possibility for a bullish setup, although it'd be more bullish if this multiple hit support level holds. Whether it will or not, so far it has. It still hasn't broken above this level of resistance, and until it doesn't, it won't, which is kind of obvious. But what hasn't happened the last few days that has happened before? And the answer is it hasn't supported this level, roughly at around 10K or pierced below. As on the third day, this day, every one of these days up to the 9th, the lows was at or a hair below 10K. But we had this breakout on September 10th, albeit small. Resistance in this little general same area from before, but holding some higher lows along the way. If we look at this, say, on a single hour term time frame, there isn't really too much to go over on this other than, well, there's your down move, and it's been relatively indecisive. We haven't had any clear break of resistance or support. The resistance that was established originally here, we kind of pierced below it. And then more of a larger level, you could say around this point in here, where it resisted here, again in here. And then it works out that it almost comes to it, consolidates, in this case supporting, but really congesting amongst the area. A little bit of a failed breakout, but along the way, as I mentioned, all of these days finding support here, we've been seeing it thus far find a decent job of holding 10,200 change. Whether it continues to do so or not, well, time will only tell. If you see something like the setup in here, how it's starting to fall below the 18 lows like this, then that can give you indication that maybe, we could still have just further successful test here, but if I see it starting to break down in this setup like this, I'm going to think there's an okay chance it can still go. And even if it does, finding a higher or matching low in here is still not the bearish of the sentiments, albeit, again, breaking down below here. That long term, that's to me not much of a big deal. And a small attempt to break out didn't work here, but on any of these breaks, there's always that potential where you can have a decent sized break and thus retracement from this high to this low. I'm not going to calculate it, but if you're trading this, obvious fib from this high to this low, areas around here and here kind of deal, as far as like the 38 and 61.8% retracements. But if it has a breakout above here, somewhere in this general area is like an area I'd be looking for resistance. Of course, if I was looking for it right now, I'm not. And as far as the weekly term, long term, really long term, it's been in a tremendous uptrend from the 2012 lows. And since then, well, we've got this same sort of resistance pattern. This low here, established higher low from way back in here. So $200 lows got replaced with $3,300. Kind of a retest piercing above in here. But definitely finding support at this level of resistance it had for a good month plus or so, a few months. This is weekly time, like a full season. And now I like to see how it's hanging in here. We've seen before how it was just hanging in there, the 18 average of highs, and then it has a break above it. if this supports this, you start to see this thing get nicely above 11,000 in the next few days, or the next few days, rest of the month. Then this thing could be poised for a significantly nice size move. Now let's move on to Theta, and I am extremely scared to sell this one right now. Or another way of saying is this thing could go bonkers, and I think it's going to. I'm going to go over why. As it goes, I'm going to go over all the time frames. We'll start with the daily, then we'll go shorter term, then longer term. These Fibonacci lines will remain valid until the market breaks above this, or really breaks down below this, because it represents Fibonacci from this low to this high. And you can do Fibonacci from this low too, but it's pretty much breaking past the 60. This was like 61.8% from like this low to this high. I mean, that's a 61.8 hit, and it's breaking above it. So from where are we now? Where have we been? And where do we have the potential to go? Well, the short answer to the long one is way higher. But where we have been is nice little run here, consistent, several periods, several days in this time frame, in this case, of higher highs and higher lows. After resisting the 61.8, 76.4 rather, percent Fibonacci point, it got above it and has had consistent, decent amounts of support for a couple days here on the 27th, 28th of August. Small little rally, that lower high at this point, but it also successfully held and stayed within the previous established low. And it did so over several days. And then came the 9th. And from that move, it was a 18.4% gain against the Bitcoin. Sideways consolidation on the 10th. On the 11th, a little bit of retracement. We can see it was a line going back to the 18 highs. But then it closed pretty much at the highest point of the day, and really at the resistance established over the last couple of days. And then yesterday's session, which was that of Saturday, up 8.7 against the bit, and closing at highs. Well, what's this closing high here? This is 45.75. Oh no, not yeah, no, that's is this the close? What's the highest close it's ever had? Well, this is 48, not even close. Highest close ever, yeah. I'm just figuring that out for the first time, obviously. So yesterday's day was the highest closed ever. And today's got the potential too, with 54 minutes and 40 seconds left in the day. Because right now it's only down 1 basis point, or 1 Satoshi. It was 52.57 close, it's 52.56 now. But the pattern is magnificent. You have the gain, and then this name cattail. I don't know if there's a name for it like that, but what this means, whatever it's named, is that you had obviously an intraday correction within the uptrend that has already gotten back like 100% of its retracement. It's like, how do you do kind of deal? And that's just most certainly a magnificent pattern. I can go back to the daily term time frame later on to go for the final reason why I think this thing is just going to go off large, or why I'm scared to sell. On the 4-hour term, this was the one earlier that was like, yeah, this was, I mean, it was in like, it was, when I looked at it earlier, it was like down the 18 average of lows, and I think, anyway. But this is breaking out of the 18 average of highs after going towards here. We can see correcting from this level here. Single hour term, there's the high, there's this low, so correction from key low to key high, obviously finding support back where we came from. How many times on a successful bull market does this happen, where you resist, come back, find support where resistance used to be had at? Ding, ding, ding again. So now we're at that level. Okay, so we get above, and now we're at that, okay, previous high. How are we going to hold there? Well, we've had a little bit of resistance. We could, not much. We can see that, well, we're 7 minutes in. We got a red candle on the hourly, so... But what did we see before this green move? This move in here at 1300 hours, 1 p.m. Eastern time. It has a gain, and then it just grinds this move while it just moves this above the 18 average of highs as it does, showing a lot of, showing you move. Hey, this looks like a legit rally, and then with what happened at 1800 hours, yeah, very much so, as this has managed to go up to that 52 mark, and then of course starting to pull back a little bit. 15-minute time frame. I mean, not much at all. Just this beautiful doing of what bull markets do. Of course, we had this down move in here, and from this bottom, from this bottom, when it tangles with the 18, obviously never really able to get above it. Here, when it tangles with the 18 average of highs, it does get above it, breaking the previous high and congesting at the previous level. Then the key level of support. I mean, is this a real failed move or not? Well, if it comes down the lows like this and breaks out like this, no. I mean, you can almost see that the inverted head and shoulders pattern here as well. Left shoulder, head, and right shoulder. Then it breaks it, and then a huge gain. It's already done its deed, if you will. But even within this, you have this move at 1330, an ascending triangle, how it's able to keep all of the higher lows in gear. And then even in here, just this little bit is this support is where this little bit resistance was. So now you're supporting where you resisted on a shorter term. I'm not going to go the 1 and 5, but that's what you're doing and stuff like that. And then this nice little breakout here, and it did go right up to where you'd expect it to go, which is the range between like 51.84 and like 52.59. What was the high at? 52.70. So yada yada goes to that high. Where we came from, if it's going to come down, is 51 low change. And if it breaks this, what kind of potential does this have? And the answer to me, I think, is extreme. Because it's now going to come down to volume here. And I'm going to say the same thing I said before. I'm going to show you what I said before. And before, it was back in here. What I was basically saying within this up run is, where's the volume? There ain't any. It ain't here. When these markets have these tops, they usually do so on very good volume. And when I was looking at this before, I'm like, look at this volume compared to all of its previous stuff. I mean, this is nothing compared to this volume here. But we can see, look at this. This volume comes in, and we can see that we have the good volume in here leading to this level, and the biggest one was on the day of the top. Well, how normal is that? That's normal. So as we fast forward to today, where's our volume in here? It ain't there. It hasn't even started, the big volume on this move. I don't think that we are ready yet to see toppy action. I don't even like the chances of previous high topping, previous high being near 64. This to me looks as if we might have something where we're going to have like 2, 4, 5, 8 days where the volume will come in and we'll have a blow off top at some point. But with all of this being stated as it is, you know, it looks to me as if it's going to have a decent price when it gets to it. And whether it happens quick or not, I don't know. But the likelihood that I think that this has significant moves. Getting that dollar's a key number. Bitcoin's at 10,000, therefore 10,000 Satoshis a dollar. We're looking at a coin at 5,200 Satoshi, so it's over 52 cents. I'm not a big fan, as anyone knowing that I watch this, of looking at really, other than Bitcoin, looking at altcoins against the dollar. Mainly because, to me, Bitcoin is a very good trading partner, trading pair, trading cross, basically. And it's a very common one as well. And I just hate holding dollars. I mean, why would I want to hold tethers? I know it's like whatever, but it's my channel, I guess. But I just don't like the tether or any of those other stable, quote unquote, stable coins. Hence the reason why I'm using the words quote unquote. So as far as these longer term time frames are concerned, I mean, these are just screamingly bullish as well. So weekly chart, one of the things of note is how well this market has done in holding and staying above these key high numbers. Because when this thing started, this thing was down at these like 15, 1200, 2000 levels, yada yada. And this is the Binance high. This traded on Huobi beforehand, still does on Huobi. November 30th, November 30th, 2018. That's when it went up all night long, and then it came back down all morning long. So, I mean, it didn't hold on the intraday, it didn't hold. And then the big rally to start 2019. Several weeks to make it to this high of where we are now. And then failing to hold the 18 average. Even failing to hold where we came from. I mean, it resisted support. And it supported a little lower than previous support, but that level held. That's a very, 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 very long time of correctionary phase. Doing so from really all of 2019, really for a full calendar year or so. But as it got above this in April of this year, retest of this level, even though it pierced above it, practically retest, yeah. And how it supported the 18 average of lows, what it wasn't able to do here. And then it didn't rally from this point after several red periods down. Here, bunch of red periods down, small rally. A little bit down, great rally. Gets above the 18 average of highs. But as far as this, you can say things like, oh, I don't got a Bollinger Band here. Maybe your Bollinger Bands might be saying, oh, it's overextended, yada, yada. Okay, shut up. I'm kidding when I say shut up, but not really. I can't even hear you, so what's the point? I mean, you know. What I'm saying here is we have a spot where this market, August 17th into the 24th period, reached this high. And then we had this period in here of correctionary move. And it's having its move, and it's barely broken above this resistance. This is telling me that it's at least now going to this previous high. And this week is over, so it's probably going to happen next week. Damn good chance of it, I would think. And that's just where I'm thinking. Even though it's well overextended, buyers are in control of this market big time. And I wouldn't be surprised if they even, again, blow this because of the volume situation. I would expect bigger volume to come in when this market approaches any type of toppy action. Amongst the monthly term time frames, so bullish. I don't got much data, but I got enough to know what the market is telling me. And just looking at it from the month of May of this year, this amazing break, and then it comes back down. So a small break above it. Really, when it comes down to it, it's just one little bit higher, move higher. 2 periods in which it consolidates. And now we're on period number 2 of this break. And this is like part of the excitation. The better price point of getting in would have been around 33, 34. But, I mean, how you want to trade, buy and sell, those are all strategies that I don't talk too much about. I got my own strategies, and they're in the more information box, and I put them on there one day, realizing I'm not going to talk about this much anymore. I'll just keep it on there because this information is like teaching math. It doesn't change year in year out. It kind of is math, actually. Practically almost all of it is math. So I'll just let it go on it as it is for that reason. So if that's the strategies that I use. But for myself, a lot of this is trading this against other coins, and a lot of what I'm going to be selling here relatively soon until I can see the volume come in is going to be very light because I expect these gains to come in relatively soon, relatively fast, quick, and to very great extents. I think on conservative targets, I'm looking for a very good pierce above 10,000 Satoshi, 11, 12, 13,000. That's a conservative level. I do believe that this thing has the potential on the next leg higher to be a $2, $3 coin, which means 20, 30,000 Satoshi coin. The markets, of course, are going to do what the markets are going to do. And I'm just, again, going on with what I see, but this volume is pretty bad, which is good kind of deal. I mean, the sense of what I'm cheering for amongst these market conditions. Thank you for tuning in and have yourself a great day. Bye-bye.